Welcome to the C.O.C. Buried tutorial. There's the obvious thing that stands out about this song in that it's tuned really low. It's tuned D flat. This song actually turned out to be pushing the boundaries of my abilities, and it is kind of surprising how it turned out. When you're transcribing something, you're usually working at it at low speeds, maybe 75%, 50% of normal speed, and hitting each note, and you're working on each riff in a compartmentalized fashion. So working on each riff in a compartmentalized fashion, the song wasn't that challenging. But when you string them all together, and you got to remember the changes and have good flow and stay in the pocket, those things were pushing me on my abilities. If you notice on the playthrough I did, I'm in and out of the pocket. Actually, on some of the riffs, I played the wrong variation at the wrong time. And that was the challenge on this, where when you first start working on it, you'll learn a riff, you think, okay, I got it. Well, maybe you don't. At least not for me, because when you string them all together, it was remembering the patterns of where they were played at the song, make sure you got the right variation. So this one had just the factors that played against my weaknesses, but on their own, the riffs aren't that tough. One of the other things that got me on this one, and it doesn't show right now, but we'll see it later on in some of the tab pages, is the harmonics. For some reason, they were just tough for me, and I just omitted them. So hopefully you've got more dexterity and fluidity in your playing, and you'll be able to pick those up from the tab sheet and add them to the song when you learn it. Sheets 2 and 3. Sheets 2 is pretty basic. The third riff on there, that's actually kind of fun. So the one starting at 29 seconds going to 36 seconds, just the alternate pick pattern, and then the third fret vibrato. Sheet 3, what's there to say about that? The first half of it is kind of a variation or same thing essentially that you're seeing on sheet 2. Now we get into, at 47 seconds, some single note picking, which I hate. I hate being at those that far down, well, not far down, let's say like strings 1, 2, and 3. That's kind of no man's land for me, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And this probably won't be the issue with your guitar. I found that string 2, every time I was hitting those notes, I'm like, what, am I playing it wrong? Did I transcribe it wrong? No, it just turns out that my guitar tends to go out of tune on that string, so maybe I got to look at my tuners. And the riff at 1:08 is interesting in that the riff seems like it's from kind of the Soundgarden genre or era, or just kind of not expected, but it's smooth, it's groovy, it's fun to play, but it seems like it belongs to a bit of a different genre. So here we go. Tab sheets 4 and 5. I won't be demonstrating anything here because these are riffs we've already gone over. Tab sheet 6. So this is where the bane of my existence of this song started. The riff starting at 2 minutes and 43 seconds. On the next sheet, or soon thereafter, we're going to see kind of another variation. So we're going to have like this little, it's basically a set of 2 riffs here and then another set of 2 riffs. And there's some variations, and oh my gosh, it was just so hard for me to remember which variation to play. Probably easier for people that do a lot of riff stuff like this when I'm more power chord based, so having to remember all the finger variances is just like and for some reason the harmonic was getting to me. So if you look at 2 minutes 48 seconds, that riff, and also a reminder, when I quote times, these aren't off the formal CD MP3s, it's just off of the videos that are posted to YouTube. And so if you look at 2 minutes 48 seconds, there's an artificial harmonic. I could swear at one point I was nailing it, but this past week for some reason I couldn't, so I just omitted it. So we'll go through those riffs. tab sheet 7 and sheet 8. There was a very unexpected riff on this one. It was at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. This is the most death metal riff that there could be, and it was in the middle of this song that's kind of got this smooth groove feel to it. And if you keep in mind that we're tuned to D flat, and then when you play this riff, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's like, well, this could be Napalm Death or something like that. Then when we move on to the riffs at 345 and 352, I'll demonstrate those, and let's kind of look through here. A lot of the other stuff has already been done. Oh, the last riff, 4 minutes and 7 seconds. So this was really kind of interesting that they created this little fill of a riff and only did it once in the entire song. Kind of like over at, jumping back to the riff I was talking about at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. They only did that riff once. Frankly, the riff at 3 minutes and 40 seconds, you could make an entire song out of that. You could probably make a great song if you just did 3 minutes and 40 seconds and the riff at 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Put those together, maybe did an electronic drum beat on there, and you'd have yourself something like an old Ministry kind of song or something like that. But you know, having said that, it's you got to give the guys at C.O.C. credit. It's like these are great riffs, and they're only played once. Kind of like all the riffs on the first Megadeth album. It's like you could make 10 albums out of that thing. But how they make all these little different variations and have all these riffs in here, it's what really makes a professionally written song. A song that just doesn't get boring. Riffs that don't sound redundant. So let's jump into it. Let's demonstrate some of these. I'm looking over the last two tab sheets, sheets 9 and 10, and I don't see anything that we haven't gone over or would need a demonstration. So hopefully the tuning, that section that we go over in the beginning of this, that we went over in the beginning of this, and hopefully the tabs are correct enough and the demonstrations are sufficient enough that the only two things that should be holding you up from learning this song is your individual ability and your perseverance. Because there's a lot of challenges that can come into learning a song when other things are messed up, when you can't figure out the tuning, when the tabs are wrong, when someone is showing you and it's just too fast to follow, things of that nature. So, if it's on the edge of your ability, you've got all the other pieces in there, maybe you can build up to it and have some perseverance, because even when stuff is within our ability, we don't tend to want to take the time on it. We just want the instant gratification. So enjoy it. Hopefully you get the song down.